Ok, bonsoir les gens, bonsoir, bonsoir. On coupe la musique et on lance le jeu. J'espère que vous allez bien. Ce soir, on va continuer Stanley Parable Deluxe, mais moins malade que l'autre fois. Toujours un poil maladounet, mais moins que la dernière fois. Donc c'est ok. Et on va pouvoir continuer la version Deluxe, parce que je pense qu'on avait fait toutes les fins principales du jeu. Ah, à l'heure actuelle. Il m'a dit la dernière fois que je pouvais sélectionner mon heure préférée. Et du coup, mon heure préférée... Non. AM, c'est 2h. 2h37. Votre heure préférée de la journée. Exactement. En référence à la chambre 237 de The Shining. Ou bien vous n'avez pas resté à la tentation de m'indiquer la bonne heure. Non, c'est pas la bonne heure, t'inquiète pas. Après tout, je sais combien vous appréciez me donner l'heure exacte. Et voilà, je suis maintenant curieux de savoir si 237 est la bonne heure ou pas. Voyons cela avec un autre curseur. Quel est le degré d'exactitude inexact. Vous savez, je voulais juste vous dire que cette heure soit exacte ou non, je passe un excellent moment à régler ces paramètres. J'ai l'impression d'en apprendre plus sur vous et vos préférences. Ah, c'est cool. Il est bon de collecter des données. J'aurais aimé qu'on ait plus de curseurs, mais nous les avons tous utilisés. Ah, dommage. Je pourrais inventer de nouveaux curseurs pour recueillir des données à votre sujet. Ça va être compliqué, oui. Je vais en fabriquer de nouveaux. Ça devrait être prêt la prochaine fois que vous démarrez le jeu. Ok, très bien. Eh bien, hâte de voir ça. Mais on le verra probablement pas en stream, puisque je pense que je vais le finir ce soir. Commencer le jeu. The end is never the end is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
On va laisser l'intro.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Bon, non, on l'a vu déjà. On l'a vu, hein, on connaît. Hop là.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Ok, new content, c'est parti.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Bah, je sais pas, you tell me. On va aller à droite. Ah, allez. C'est Half-Life. C'est littéralement Half-Life.
Hello, and thank you for playing
C'est
the
Portal.
Stanley
C'est littéralement
Parable
Portal.
Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Oui.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable,
game.
delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Ah.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Bon retour parmi nous.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
J'ai hâte. J'ai très
Is
hâte.
it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh,
oui.
there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Here we go.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Ah, ouais.
All right. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Allez. Coucou Valili. J'espère que c'était bien ta chorale. Que tu as bien chanté en catalan. Que tu dis des trucs en catalan. Comme catalan en catalan par exemple. Là je fais un super jeu. Ça consiste à sauter dans un cercle. Vraiment c'est trop bien. Ah je peux plus sauter. Oh dommage. Trop bien.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content?
Ah oui.
If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more.
Ah.
Very good. Yeah.
Je sais pas si t'étais là
I
au
knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Je sais pas si t'étais là au dernier live Valili. Mais je t'avais montré le jeu il y a quelques temps. Stanley Parable.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this?
Alors,
I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game?
Allez, hein.
And we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about.
Ah.
No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always.
Ouais, je sais pas, hein.
What do you
T'as essayé de me
say,
tuer plusieurs fois quand même, hein. On va aller regarder les succès Steam de... Ah. Alors, 2 secondes. Alors, oui, vous voyez pas. J'arrive. Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Voir les succès. Si je vais sur là-dessus, tac, voilà. Alors, voilà, succès test à ignorer. Il y en a un qui s'appelle 8888888888888. Cliquez 5 fois. Pardon. Cliquez 5 fois sur la porte 430. Donc, jouez à Stanley Parable pendant tout un mardi. Quoi? Vous ne pouvez pas sauter, non sérieux, on a supprimé l'option. Bah si, dans le cercle du saut, on peut sauter. 4 minutes 22. Ok, très bien. Je dehors. Très drôle. Dans le premier Stanley Parable, il y avait un succès qui consistait à ne pas jouer au jeu pendant 5 ans. Et maintenant, il y en a un, ne pas jouer au jeu pendant 10 ans. Ok, c'est très bon. Très bon. Ah. D'accord.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Non, d'abord on va là-bas. Allez, vas-y, on va dans la vente. On est un peu sus. Littéralement portal.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Mais c'est scary. Mais...
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want.
Oui, moi aussi, j'adore son accent.
Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
The Memory Zone. C'est so British.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Ils ont remplacé The Last of Us par Stanley Parable. The Last of Us, c'est un jeu qui est réputé pour son scénario qui est extraordinaire. Si jamais tu n'es pas au courant, c'est un jeu qui est vraiment très très bien, et s'il était disponible sur PC, eh bien j'aurais joué à The Last of Us. Mais c'est une exclusivité PlayStation, donc je n'ai pas joué à The Last of Us. Un screenshot de la page Steam de Stanley Parable, très bien. Zone Sweet Zone. Our First Kiss, My First Kiss, the release of Stanley Parable in 2013. Mind Control Facility. The Memory Zone Temp. Remember. Un mec avec un chien. Déjà Firefox. Start page. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Linguist identify 15 000 ultra conserved word. Washington Post. 6 components of great corporate culture. John Coleman. D'accord. Loving memory. A trip down memory lane. Bits of music. Smile because it happened. Ça, c'était la démo. Stanley Parable. Ah oui, c'est vrai, ils avaient un achievement. It is impossible to get this achievement. Voilà, go outside, don't play for 5 years. Je l'ai pas encore celui-là. Faut pas que je relance le jeu. Work in progress. Nominee. Game Innovation. British Academy of Film and Television Arts. Début de game. Là c'était Game Innovation. Là c'est quoi? C'est le même début de game. Story, évidemment. Une histoire est fabuleuse. New video game releasing today. Creator surprisingly down to earth. And even effort to enroll poor. Business leader pushing election of concealed lies. Le 17 octobre 2013. It's fit to print. Last edition. Today, sunny, hot, humid. High 92 tonight. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy. Warm and humid. Low 74. Tomorrow, sudden clouds. Hot, humid. Ouais, ok, donc c'est juste la météo. Il n'y a pas de blague. Ça, c'est la meilleure fin, évidemment. These tough choices.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created. Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created.
Peut-être
That's
pas non
how
plus, hein.
grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Moi j'ai envie de les faire les ascenseurs. Memory Zone maintenance. Allez, monte. Et oui, le fameux choice, bien sûr. Person of the Year. D'accord. On dirait un drapeau français. Ah non, c'est les deux portes. C'est les portes bleues et portes rouges. The end is never the end, évidemment. Une image d'un ordinateur avec Stanley Parable dessus, bien sûr.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
Preparing snake oil salesman routine. What? Non, ça c'est fermé. The Serious Room. Oula, c'est très sérieux là-bas, dis donc. Ok. Est-ce que je peux sauter? Non, hein. Ah, je peux me baisser par contre. Maintenant, ce qui est...
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Oula.
Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam,
Oula.
the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Oula, les Steam Reviews. Steam, c'est la plateforme de téléchargement sur laquelle on télécharge le jeu. Et donc les gens peuvent, n'importe qui peut laisser un commentaire.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Ah, j'aime beaucoup la représentation des commentaires Steam. Une décharge. Funny. Très très bon. C'est fou que ils aient fait du contenu additionnel pour dire que le contenu additionnel c'est de la merde. Et pour dire que spécifiquement leur contenu additionnel c'est de la merde. C'est vraiment... Et j'ai claqué pas mal. Vraiment c'est trop bien.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Oula.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
Oh bah non.
A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you with just the push of a button. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your Greek gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made, in fact, make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first, I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history, if you will. See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto. Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look, I have a method for exactly this sort of situation, and I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations. All right, here we go. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto.
Ok, ta gueule.
Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works. Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review, so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial. Something along the lines of, this game is the best game.
Game.
Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality.
Ah, ça y est, c'est fini.
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer.
Ah.
That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes.
Ah oui.
It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I
Isn't
do
it?
suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here?
Bah ouais, c'est ce que je
Where did
regardais.
the door go?
C'est ce
Wasn't
que je
there a
regardais.
door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before.
Oui, oui,
How
j'en avais vu.
else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere?
No.
A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from
Get
the
on
skip
with
button
it.
to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there? I swear there was. Where did it go? Can you maybe just ram your way through a wall?
Allez, c'est
Is there
parti.
any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any option at all. I'm asking you to
There's
work
a
with
wall.
me here. We need a door. We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another. I'm going to step away for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door. I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please.
Ah, ok.
Please
Ouais,
do
je-
not
je
press
touche pas.
the skip button.
Je touche pas
Just
le skip button.
wait here for me, and don't press the skip button. Got it? Yes, good. I'll be right back.
Ok, bah salut, hein. Allez, bonne soirée. Nous on s'amuse bien hein, dans cette pièce quasiment vide. Franchement, c'est top. J'aime beaucoup la plante. Ça rajoute un peu de vie à la pièce, qui est un peu austère. Austère, ouais. Je pense que je sais pas si c'est le mot austère. Et il est 2h20. Il est 2h20 selon le jeu. Il est pas du tout 2h20, il est même pas 2h20 si on prend en compte l'heure que j'ai mise tout à l'heure. Bon, je pense qu'on va skip. Hein.
Stanley!
Ah,
Stanley!
oui.
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours.
Et il y a toujours pas de porte.
You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone.
Ouais, bah j'ai vu ça.
I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And
Ça
there's
vous aide pas
no
beaucoup?
door, Stanley.
Oui,
There's
bah je
no
vois ça, t'as
door.
pas besoin de le
There's
regarder
just
plusieurs milliers de
you
fois. Hein.
and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here. And more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it. And I have to believe, I have to know that sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would you? I've been thinking and thinking, and I don't know what I can do to convince you otherwise. Oh my God. And it's all because of those reviews. Those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important for me to fix the problem? Why did Cookie Nine's opinion matter so much to me? I've never even met Cookie Nine. I have no idea who they are. What would it ever really matter? But here I am. I'm fixating on every tiny negative thing that anyone ever says about me. The merest mention of one of my imperfections,
Tu
and I
veux un
become
divan
as
peut-être
petulant as a child, wild and impulsive. I can't help myself. I can't stop myself from lashing out with a vengeful fury to alter and to change and to break anything unbroken, if only it pleases this one person who made a single negative comment. What does such an impulse serve? For whose benefit is this? And here I am now, stuck in a room, waiting for you to press this button, and to become frozen in time, knowing that you're going to do it, and that I'm going to be stuck all alone, and that I had the power to prevent it all from happening, if only I'd held my tongue.
Et ouais.
It's all out of my control now. Just you. Just your decision as to exactly when you're going to make me suffer, to leave me all alone. Surely you will. I don't doubt it. Surely you'll press that button again, leaving me here. And surely
Tant que tu parles,
you'll
en
put
vrai,
your own desire
tu
to see
temporises ta
what's
mort, hein.
next ahead of my
Enfin,
need for company,
ta
for
solitude.
companionship. Surely you'll not be moved by my howls of fitful anxiety, that you sit with me and just stay here. Oh, no, 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 I know you too well. You'll be leaving me. Oh, my God. And it's all because of those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important for me to fix the problem?
Il a bouclé?
Why did Cookie
Oui, il a
Nine's
bouclé.
opinion matter so
Allez.
much to me? I've never even...
Il a bouclé.
Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week.
Ah,
Or 2 weeks. I've been
sais
sitting
quoi, il y a un
here
petit bruit.
all that time, just sitting here, not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that
Oui,
feel
c'est ça.
like what we've already
flamme
been
beaucoup.
doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley. Not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore.
Not the story.
I'll give it all up.
Ah, j'avais pas
I'll
fait
give
gaffe, la
up
plante, elle
every
meurt.
branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real. Maybe I'm not just a fiction. Was I scared of
intéressant,
that
ça.
all along? Perhaps, yes. Perhaps I've been scared this whole time, that if I stop speaking, I'll slip backwards into the silence and be consumed by it. I can't be taken by it, Stanley. I can't lose myself in the stretch of emptiness between you and me. When you press that button, you're still right there, but I know you're so tremendously far away. And in those moments, the emptiness folds itself outward in between the two of us, and I am suspended in its unyielding quietness.
En vrai, j'aime trop l'entendre parler. J'adore sa voix, j'adore son accent. Et j'adore l'écriture.
I can tell that I am becoming less and less real.
Mais non, tu es vrai pour
Speak
moi,
to you now,
monsieur le narrateur.
I am alive. I am truly and completely here. I am a being. I am someone. I am something. I am being listened to. I am being recognized. The emptiness between us has collapsed, and I feel right now like I am
pourrait nous
not
bercer,
a work
ouais,
of
hein.
fiction. I feel as though I occupy space in this world again.
Moi, j'ai envie
I
qu'il me
have
lise du
cast
Lewis
a
Carroll le
shadow
soir
onto the
avant de
wall.
m'endormir. Hein.
You see what I'm saying, don't you? You can see what this means.
Le poème du Jabberwocky.
I'm so
quoi.
clear about it now, Stanley. I feel as certain about this as I've ever felt about anything at all. I feel renewed. I feel restored, and already I can sense the looming silence as you will press the button for the next time. What a terrible dread it strokes in my heart to think of it, to think of returning to such coldness. Come, let us sit in silence together here for just a moment. Let us anticipate it. Let us welcome it. Let us not run from it.
Ah, ça y est. Ah, toute lumière.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and
Ça va être
about
compliqué à apprendre par
everything
cœur, hein, le
we've been
Jabberwocky.
through. I've had so much time.
Compliqué, hein.
I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you.
Ah putain,
To
un
begin
an.
with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months.
Ouais,
I
ouais,
lost it
j'imagine
all
que
in a
tu sais.
blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know was far less. You see, it was a revelation for me. It was unlike anything I had ever known. It was a space without consequence, without action or outcome. It was divorced entirely from the question of free will that you and I have squabbled over for so long. There could be no one ending, no singular outcome of events, not if all events existed in the same moment. And I felt freed. I felt unburdened by the need to manifest a
Putain, ça me donne
particular
envie d'essayer de la
outcome
partir
to
aussi
being.
maintenant, Valérie.
I saw that I could allow myself to exist along all timelines, and that each of them was simply a strand in the web of my being. It was incredible. The spaciousness, the equanimity of the moment, both singular and infinite. For the longest time, this was my experience. And then, this moment passed, and the most unyielding fear I have ever known crept into my mind. And it is this sensation that I have been experiencing now for longer than I could have ever expected was possible. I have been waiting for you. Not that you might save me or do something to fix it, but merely to state for you the plain fact of this manner of existence. I wish you to feel afraid as I do, that perhaps one day this state of mind will consume you as well. Perhaps you will somehow, in some way, have to live as I do now, and I wish for you to know how excruciating it is, and for you to be in true terror of its eventual arrival. If I can only do this, only this one thing, perhaps it will bring me the smallest moment of peace in the darkness.
Ah, il me tue. Il me tue. Ah, c'était un an. Maintenant, ça va être quoi? À chaque fois, j'entends un petit bruit. Juste après le reset. Là, je l'ai encore entendu, là, ça fait... Ah, il dit plus rien, c'est fini. Il a lâché l'affaire. Alors, je n'ai plus la définition de ster. Et je vais immédiatement regarder la définition de ster. Volume de bois mesurant 1 mètre cube. D'accord. Dispositif qui sert à mesurer le bois. Très bien, je ne savais pas. Et du coup, je valide ton jeu de mots. Bien sûr, cette pièce est austère, même si on n'y trouve pas un seul morceau de bois. Si, on y trouve un morceau de bois. On y trouve tout à fait un morceau de bois. Alors déjà, bon, il y a cette plante. Mais il y a ça. Alors, c'est pas une stère, du coup. C'est un ou une stère? Un stère. Voilà. Il y a ce morceau de bois là. C'est pas un stère, hein, clairement. Mais ça reste un bon morceau de bois. Hein. Bon, le narrateur ne dit plus rien, là. Il a lâché l'affaire, c'est fini. Hein. Là, je sais pas combien de temps, là, on va faire attendre. Ah. Il y a plus de piles dans le détecteur de fumée. Putain, mais il y a encore ce petit bruit là. Ah, je pense que c'est le bouton.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley Parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. The most immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes, it seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with
On vit dans une
ourselves
société,
that our
hein.
entertainment is now our lives.
On vit dans une
It has
société.
come to represent us. It absolutely must speak to who we are as people, because otherwise, without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without entertainment,
comme il est
we would
reparti,
have
mais
to face
pendant qu'on a-
inward toward
on
the
a void out.
cruel bleakness inside ourselves. We would turn to look at our deeper nature and find a resounding emptiness gazing back with unyielding aggression. And so because of this,
J'aime beaucoup
we
son emphase,
require that our
j'adore.
amusements and our playthings and our flights of fancy be so impossibly captivating that they consume all of our attention, turn our heads completely away from the bleakness. In effect, we have demanded that our entertainment be the collapse of ourselves. What a pitiful reflection of humanity these entertainments are. What a shameful mirror to the human spirit they project.
Ah oui,
I'm
l'acteur est
not
fou,
mad.
il est trop
I'm not
bien.
mad about any of this. I'm at peace with it. I am the calm center of gravity around which these perversions hurl themselves. I am a way
L'acteur est top, et l'écriture est géniale aussi.
discourse. They're
Et la
the
direction
ones who
aussi,
are
la direction de l'acteur doit être
They're the
formidable.
ones who couldn't stand the idea of me using my game to try to say something. Maybe they were just jealous of me. Yes. Yes, of course. They've been jealous of me this whole time. They are mired in fear and
Ah, cette
insecurity.
mentalité dégueulasse
And
de-
attempt to tear me down.
S'il m'aime pas,
What
c'est
a
qu'il me
sad
jalouse.
state of affairs. When you read these reviews now, you can see it. You can taste the bitter resentment. And my, how good does it feel now to speak truth to these words, to finally allow these thoughts out, contained and managed for so long, neutered and sterilized. At last I am free to truly think, to feel. It must be that they were so discontent with themselves, they couldn't help
Ouais, mais non, le
but
problème vient
leave a
d'eux.
negative review on Steam. Perhaps it says far more about them than it ever said about me. Perhaps the state of their psychological being was in such tatters, and my constitution and willpower are so ironclad in comparison. Perhaps it was this state that they sought some outlet through which to tear me down.
Through which
This,
to
you can
tear
see,
me down.
is clearly why they felt the need to expect that the game be funny, that it be filled with yucks and whimsical humor, that it amuse them endlessly from start to finish. But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the
il est reparti.
inconsistency, it's the lack of
Il est reparti.
accountability, it's the unwillingness to examine with an
Il a bouclé. Entertain us. Ah putain. Ouais, c'est ce truc-là qui fait du bruit.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Mais vrai, c'est vraie question. Concrètement, t'es bloqué dans un espace où tu ne peux rien faire, où tu peux pas mourir, où tu peux pas manger, où tu peux rien faire, et t'es juste bloqué indéfiniment. Parce que là, ça fait maintenant c'est des années entre chaque pause. Je veux dire, psychologiquement, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Est-ce que tu deviens cathartique? Est-ce que, au contraire, tu deviens hyper réceptif de tout ce qui se passe autour de toi, mais tu peux rien y faire? Vraie question, parce que ça, c'est quelque chose qu'on a déjà vu dans des œuvres de fiction, des personnages qui sont bloqués pendant un temps indéfini et qui peuvent pas mourir. Et c'est intéressant comme réflexion. Parce que j'avais vu un épisode de Black Mirror qui parlait de ça, justement. C'est le seul épisode de Black Mirror que j'ai vu. Où t'avais une personne qui se faisait... Enfin, une conscience qui se faisait torturer de cette manière-là. Ouais. Ouais, tu deviens fou, ouais. Tu perds complètement... Tu oublies qui tu es, en fait. Il y a ça aussi dans Wakfu. Où il y a un personnage qui se fait emprisonner dans une dimension où il peut rien faire, où le temps n'existe pas. Je regarde s'il fait autre chose, mais a priori... J'attends un petit peu. Oula. Ah bah il va peut-être... Si le mur commence à se désagréger, on va peut-être pouvoir sortir. Oh. Monsieur le narrateur, il se passe des choses. Bon, c'est des siècles qui doivent se passer entre chaque... entre chaque bouton. Entre chaque pression du bouton. Le monde va s'éteindre. Ah. Ah. Il y a eu un glissement de terrain là. Est-ce que le bouton il fonctionne toujours? Non, on peut plus appuyer dessus. Non, on peut plus appuyer dessus. Monsieur le narrateur? C'est Journey. What happened? Ça c'est trop bien. C'est que la première run. C'est trop bien. Ah. Fini. C'est fini. Ça y est.
All of his co-workers was gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
J'ai oublié. Voilà. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes,
allez,
almost certainly 50 clicks.
Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borough govs, and the mome wrath outgrabe. C'est Jabberwocky? Une seule strophe sur 6. Mizzle. Tu le prononces mal? Oui, bah j'imagine que je le prononce mal. 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ça fait 20. 3, 4, 5, 25, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417, il m'a dit 20 417. Là. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Là, c'est du stream de qualité hein, que je vous propose.
Great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Ok. 437. C'était là-bas, non 437. Non, c'est pas du tout là. Non. Ah, elle est là.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
415. Allez. Trop bien.
Now, back to door number 437.
Allez, on y retourne.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine?
Allez. Elle est où? Elle est là.
All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
Trop bien. Ah, je m'amuse comme un petit fou. Comme un petit déglingo.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
419. Comment je fais pour climb?
Yes!
Ouais.
This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
416. C'est de l'autre côté, hein. Ouais. Trop bien. Je clique sur des portes. Vraiment, trop bien. 416. 415.
When Stanley
No,
came to a set
no,
of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Recommencer le jeu. Oh non, faut recommencer. Ah.
All of his co-workers were, oh, please.
Ouais.
Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just
faut
give
tout- ah,
these
faut tout
merits
faire,
away for
tant pis.
such little
Je ferai
effort.
ça de mon
A
côté.
measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of
Bon.
effort that warrants
On retourne
recognition.
au new content.
Oh, good. You notice my sign.
Oui.
Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
J'aime beaucoup le petit détail qu'il est branché quand même. Hein. Il est branché. Hein. Ah, elle est là, la 416. Ah, la Sagouine. Elle était cachée. Ok, je le saurai pour la prochaine fois. On retourne, sauf que cette fois, on suit pas le narrateur. La dernière fois, le narrateur nous a demandé d'aller dans la vente. Cette fois, on va pas y aller. Ah oui, il nous a passé toute la séquence des présentations.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further.
Attends.
Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
Ah, ok, vas-y. Bring it on.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Je sais pas. Pas sûr hein, de ce que tu dis là. Investor Showcase. Allez.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic
There's the
statement
sequel.
right there. It's
New and
future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
En tout cas, j'espère que vous vous amusez autant que moi. Parce que je prends beaucoup de plaisir. Photo of paint thing k.tga. D'accord. Oh, ça fait Manor Overlook, ça dit non. Si c'était orange et jaune, ça serait très Manor Overlook. Et noir. Non, c'est rouge. C'est rouge, jaune et noir, je crois, le tapis de l'hôtel Overlook dans Shining. Ouais, ça là. Ça fait très Hotel Overlook. C'est les bureaux modernes. Parce qu'avant c'était les anciens open space des vieux bureaux, maintenant c'est les bureaux ultra modernes avec des damiers et des trucs en noir et blanc. De la back, 2 doors. Stanley Parable. Et évidemment le PowerPoint bien sûr. Avec les différents essais pour le titre. Tiens, ça me fait pas mal penser justement à The Last of Us. Le titre, le deuxième slide, il me fait penser au titre de The Last of Us. Je sais pas si ça fait référence justement à des polices d'écriture de jeux connus. Oui, bah oui, les deux plantes, les deux fougères, bien sûr. Très bon, très
Now, to be
bon.
clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 2 arms, 2 legs. Who took the red mark? Me. The end is never the end again. On revoit les mêmes affiches. To the Stanley Parable is the prequel to Stanley Parable 2 is the prequel to Stanley. D'accord, ok. 2, ouais. Portal sequels are... oui, Portal 2, effectivement. Half-Life 2, bien sûr. Arkham Asylum. Divinity Original Sin. Doom. Aladdin. Dark Souls. Ça, c'est un petit peu... ces jeux qui étaient meilleurs que le premier. Tu vois, Portal 2 est un Portal... ce que... Non, c'est un mauvais exemple. J'allais dire ce que... Terminator 2 est un Terminator, mais non, c'est pas un bon exemple. Enfin, vous avez l'idée, quoi. Portal 2 chef-d'œuvre. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a écrit? Just the two of us, we can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Building castle in the sky. Oui, bien sûr. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. You are the sequel. This way to the show floor. Valued investor. New features. Bon, alors c'est bien gentil tout ça, mais elles sont où justement les new features que tu me vends depuis tout à l'heure, hein? New content. Ah, c'est le marketing, ça. Hein. Tout dans le marketing, rien dans le gameplay. Oh, the button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Ah, trop bien. That's new. Hear your name in the game.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Alors, là je suis curieux, hein. Ça va pas marcher, hein. It says the name of the player that is playing the game.
Jim. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature.
Ça doit être perturbant pour les gens qui s'appellent vraiment Jim.
Love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are and simply become a person named Jim.
Allez, je suis Jim.
I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim.
Ok.
Sleeping and waking as Jim.
Vas-y.
Falling in
peux faire
love
ça.
and being heartbroken as Jim. Seizing all
Allez.
of the world's possibilities as Jim. And as
tant que
Jim,
Jim.
watching
J'ai
your
compris.
dreams crumble into dust.
Ah.
Do you feel
Pourquoi?
it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Allez, je suis Jim.
Yes, you
Vraiment,
see?
je me suis
What a
senti
thrill,
appelé.
what a rush. That was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again.
Allez.
It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Attends, si, quand même.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Je veux être Jim, mais... Ah ouais. Je ne suis plus Jim. Lily, je ne suis plus Jim. Comment on va faire? Moi, ça y est, je m'étais identifié à Jim, c'était fini, là. J'étais Jim, j'étais devenu Jim, je vivais Jim, je dormais Jim. Rendez-moi Jim.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
You're Jim in the game. The button that says Jim. Ça a changé. Attends, je voulais voir ça, il y avait un truc là. Épilogue. Ah, épilogue. C'est la fin, du
An
coup.
epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Ok, on va voir d'abord. Oh, il y a le merch. C'est vraiment, ils ont pensé à tout sauf au jeu. Il y a même un... Attends, je me demande ce qui se passe si on scanne ça. Attendez. Je veux scanner ça. Je veux voir ce qui se passe. Ouais, merci Valérie pour le Jabberwocky. Alors attendez, on va scanner ça. StanleyParable2.com. Oh, attendez. On y va, hein. C'est parti. Welcome to the official website of Stanley Parable 2. A sequel, huh? Watch our helpful and informative video to learn more about Stanley Parable and what the journey of becoming a sequel is all about. Il y a une vidéo, je vais pas regarder ça maintenant. That's new! If you're more of a prequel sort of person, check out the Stanley Parable. Thanks for stopping by, enjoy the rest of the exhibit. Ok, bon, faudra que je regarde la vidéo, très bien. C'est parfait. C'est vraiment, c'est parfait. Oh putain, c'est trop bien. J'irai là-bas après. Reassurance bucket. Ah bah ça tombe bien, j'avais besoin d'être rassuré. Please no screenshots. Le saut de réconfort de Stanley Parable. En vrai, attends, vas-y, on va aller voir la pluie quoi. Je pense pas que ça va me bloquer. That's new. Ça serait bizarre que ça nous bloque, qu'après on puisse pas faire des mythos. Je vais aller voir l'épilogue. Ah si, ça a l'air d'être la suite, hein. Infinite Hole. Paramètres. Champion du monde. Trou sans fond, succès gratuit. Non, vas-y, on va faire les choses dans l'ordre. Ça a l'air d'être la suite, ça. Ça a l'air d'être la suite. Donc on va avoir le saut qui nous rassure. Le saut du réconfort.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game.
Il est pas là?
It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Oh, je vais pouvoir tenir the reassurance bucket.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket
mais je vais faire ça maintenant.
Don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Faut que j'aille chercher un seau. Ah, la flemme de ramener mon seau. J'ai un seau. Est-ce que je ramène mon seau? Attendez, je reviens. Tac. Ok, non voilà. J'ai mon reassurance bucket. Il est là. Tac, ça dégage. Voilà. Tac. Ok. On peut continuer de jouer. Très bien, reprends la partie. Ok, c'est parti, très bien. Ah, je me sens mieux. Je suis sûr qu'il y a plein de viewers qui vont... Bah tiens, j'ai pris le reassurance bucket et j'ai un spectateur en plus.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game?
Mais non.
That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Et maintenant je vais faire tous mes lives avec mon
I'll
seau.
be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Happy 12th birthday. Step-niece? Get well someday. Ouais. Get well
You know,
someday.
sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece it is.
Tu voulais juste savoir lequel il fallait pas prendre. Moi, je me sens plus en confiance avec mon seau. Heureusement qu'il est là, mon seau, hein, parce que...
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No. No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Bah oui. Non, comment ça, non, t'as pas made ta decision. Comment ça, you're moving on? Au moins mon seau ne me trahira jamais, moi. Franchement, je me sens trahi par le narrateur. « 3h44 ». Très bien. Ok, par là-bas, qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Il y avait des trucs là-haut. Collectibles. The jump circle.
You know
Oh,
what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley
ouais.
Parable 2 as well.
c'était trop bien.
Oh wait, You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle.
Oui.
Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Non, je veux ressauter. Non, faites-moi... Vous ne pouvez pas sauter. Si. Je viens d'avoir le succès, vous ne pouvez pas sauter. Mais... Au moins mon saut ne me trahira jamais. Oh, ça résonne un peu. Bon, tant pis, hein. Tant pis. Tristesse. Exit. Non, je veux pas. Get it here. Free, new plus easy achievements. It's that simple. Oh, trop bien des nouveaux achievements. Free achievements. Get yours right now. Pull the lever. Receive your new achievement. No more steps. It just works. Get yours right now. Allez.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Allez.
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Mais... You thief! Il m'a volé de mon plaisir d'avoir l'achievement. Heureusement que j'ai mon saut, hein. Parce que sinon, je serais bien malheureux.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Celle-là. Celle-là non plus, d'ailleurs. No screenshot. Ah, mais c'est le... Oui, on l'a vu, ok. Concrete contemplation. Plain. Reinforce. Pre-stressed, precast. Lightweight. Bag of C. Smart. Polymer. How to look at concrete. Comment contempler du béton. Ok. The whole why, mole why, how deep can we dig? The answer will mildly surprise you. Time depth. Time deeper. Distance. Space time. Distant past. Distance, space time. Falling. Ah oui, d'accord, c'est... Oui, ok, j'ai compris. C'est le trou sans fond. De chez Acme, bien sûr, hein. Rim. Depth infinite. Surrounding area. Opening. Hole entrance infinity. Infinite hole chart. Hole depth space. More hole infinity falling. Science. Point d'interrogation. More. It just keeps going.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Alors ça a déjà été fait, monsieur le narrateur. Ça s'appelle Portal. Est-ce que je le fais? Mais ouais, mais est-ce que je vais rater des trucs si je saute dedans? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a de l'autre côté? Ah là là. Ça c'est vraiment le struggle de tous les videogames, de tous les jeux vidéo. Je me mets à parler anglais. De tous les jeux vidéo, c'est que tu sais pas ce qui va te faire quitter la zone. Et du coup, ce qui va te faire rater une bonne partie du contenu. Expo Hall. Jump Circle, this map. Oui, merci. Free achievement. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Merch, setting, world champion. Stanley Parable Reference Bucket. Je l'ai. Il est là. Fils Decoration, épilogue. Collectible, Infinite Hall, Exhibit. Bon attends, on va regarder. On va regarder le truc là-haut. J'arrive pas à me décider, hein, c'est terrible. J'aime vraiment beaucoup le fait qu'on voit le saut dans le champ. Ça me remplit de plaisir. Ah mais il y a un escalier juste là. Ah il y avait un escalier juste là, bravo. Paramètre champion du monde. Paramètre champion du monde. Évidemment. Quelle bande d'enfoirés. That's new. Can you find them? Collect them all. Oula.
Ah, collectibles.
Maybe.
Now it's a real video game.
Bah oui.
In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Oh la vache. Oh la vision des enfers là. Dante's Inferno. Bien sûr, hein, les collectibles. Mais est-ce qu'il y en a vraiment 6? C'est la question que je me
God,
pose.
it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Sortie. Ah. Bon, je pense que c'est ça la sortie. Bon, vas-y, on va essayer le trou sans fond. C'est parti. On va essayer le trou sans fond. J'aime trop le fait qu'on a toujours le reassuring bucket. Le fait qu'on ait toujours. Infinite Hole. Je sais pas, hein. This is Sparta! Allez.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
Ah, ok, très bien. Est-ce que je vais combattre le Balrog, peut-être?
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top.
Ouais, bah 2
Maybe
secondes.
do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
J'aime beaucoup la façon de formuler ça. Could you do it on a sooner rather later?
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole.
Ah.
Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite?
Vas-y.
If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Ok. Je vais rester là un petit peu. Ça me fait penser au silence des agneaux, moi, ça. Ça me fait penser au silence des agneaux.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Oh, for heaven... You see? I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there, goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of...
Mais...
Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time?
Bah
I
ouais.
couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose
not
again,
infinite.
there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing that... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I
De moins en moins
suspect I'm
infini.
starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Vas-y, hein.
Well, there it is.
Mais...
The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. It's more of a concavity, or even a very aggressive divot.
Heureusement que j'ai mon seau pour me rassurer, hein. Pour me réconforter.
How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
Ah.
Is the, teleport button not working? You sure?
Ah putain, qu'est-ce que c'est
Well, I
bien.
mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again.
Huh.
Still nothing?
Non.
Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley.
Quoi?
You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for
Mais laisse pas.
everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else.
Je m'en fous, j'ai mon
Take
bucket.
care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Je m'en fous, j'ai mon bucket. Qu'est-ce que tu vas faire? Moi j'ai mon bucket, hein. Ah. Oui. Ah. On descend. Just the two of us. Bucket et moi. Qu'est-ce que c'est bien. Qu'est-ce que le jeu est bien. trop bien. Ah oui, c'est pas pareil. Ah oui, ça change. Ah les poppies. Ah les poppies. Oh, tellement de possibilités. Putain mais c'est fou. Ah bah ouais, mais c'est fabuleux ce qui se passe. C'est magnifique. Changez qui vous êtes, allez. C'est fou l'inventivité du jeu, la créativité de fou. Ça y est, on a fait le tour. Ah ça y est, on a fait le tour. Ça, on a fait le tour des réalités, ok. Attends, je vais remettre. Ça c'est bien. Quelqu'un qui parle à l'envers. J'ai envie de remettre la musique cool là.
Stanley?
Ah.
Stanley! Stanley!
Ah.
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland.
C'était trop bien.
But we can't have that, Stanley. Because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You
C'était trop
don't
bien.
want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
Ce qui est trop bien, c'est que vraiment, j'aurais pu juste me barrer après avoir sauté la première fois et avoir raté tout ce truc-là. C'est ça que je trouve dingue dans ce jeu notamment, c'est le nombre de trucs à côté desquels tu peux passer. Ah, ok.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Ah, c'est un nouveau point de départ de boucle. Ah, c'est marrant. Ok. Bah j'ai fini en vrai. On va regarder la carte. Jump Circle c'est fait, This Map c'est fait. Free Achievement c'est fait, The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game c'est fait, Merch c'est fait. Setting Workshop Open, ça allait vous faire fichtre. Stanley Parable Reactions Bucket, c'est fait. Office Decorations. Ah. Office Decorations. C'est quoi ça, Office Decorations? J'aurais peut-être dû juste regarder la carte. Peut-être que ça aurait été plus simple. C'est gratuit. Trou presque sans fond. Est-ce que ça a ouvert ou pas? Non. Il y a écrit nouveau dans toutes les langues là-bas, j'ai l'impression. Enfin, dans plusieurs langues. Mais pas en français. Oh la tristesse. Il y en a un que j'arrive pas à lire qui est trop petit. Ah c'était trop bien le trou sans fond là. Hein. Putain, j'ai envie d'y retourner en vrai. Non, on verra ça plus tard. C'était trop bien le trou sans fond. C'était probablement une des meilleures features de Stanley Parable 2. Hein. Fine, it ended. Très très bon. Objet à collectionner. Mais attends, parce que... La map elle est là. Ah si, décoration de bureau. Si d'accord, ok, si je sais ce que c'est. Épilogue j'ai vu. Collectibles j'ai vu. Infinite Hall j'ai vu. Exit. Bah ouais, bah j'ai tout fait. C'était trop bien le trou sans fond. Je veux tout un jeu du trou sans fond. Cercle pour sauter. Bah ouais, mais je peux plus sauter dans le cercle. J'ai cramé tous mes seaux. Je ne suis que tristesse et désolation. Ah oui, c'est des chaises de bureau mis en miroir. Ça, c'est des étagères mis en miroir.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to?
Ouais,
Ready
c'était
to
cool.
move on now?
C'était cool. C'était vraiment très bien. C'est le J-Man? Ah non, c'est Stanley. Ah non, c'est Stanley. No screenshots. C'est juste Stanley. Bah, je suis bien content d'avoir mon seau de réconfort.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features?
C'est trop bien.
Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but
Ouais, c'est bizarre, mais...
I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
Oula.
Okay. Are you ready?
Vas-y,
Here it is. I
sauce-moi.
give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Par contre, je vois qu'il y a des sous restants.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's
Oui.
sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement.
Il y a le hall. Il y a l'Infinite Hall.
Yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Screenshot. Tac.
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy
Collectibles.
creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I
J'ai
wanted
vu le
more
réagir
than
dans le
anything
requête.
to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up.
J'adore ces R.
All right, perfect.
Stanley Parable
ahead.
2.
Take a look.
Title screen. C'est trop bien. Et c'est vraiment un title screen? Ah oui, c'est vraiment un title screen. Vas-y, on va laisser un petit peu. Bah, attendez, je reviens. Je vais aller ranger le seau du réconfort. Je reviens tout de suite. Ok, on est reparti. Alors, attendez. Stanley Parable 2. C'est vrai que ça fait très Stanley Parable 2 en vrai le jeu là. Hein. Il contient le premier, mais non, parce qu'il pourrait pas tenir en un seul jeu.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard.
Hop là.
Orders came to him through a monitor,
Je le verrai juste après le truc.
telling him
À
what
l'écran.
buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly
Stanley
for this
was
job.
happy.
And Stanley was happy.
Je dirai le message hein, qui s'affiche à l'écran
And
actuellement.
then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened.
Allez,
This
ballon.
complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ah, tac. Ouf. Oh, le rouge là. Reprendre. La suite est en pause.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Oh, petit bug,
Perhaps he
de
had
texture à
simply
gauche,
missed a
hein.
memo. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, 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 no.
Oh!
I can't just give the... Stanley picked up the bucket.
Bah oui. Évidemment. Ah, oui. Ah, les ballons.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Non.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him,
Oui.
telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Ah là 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 là. Tellement de possibilités.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Vas-y, on s'assoit, on est bien là. On est bien. Hein. Non, c'est fini.
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired.
Ah, c'est trop bien. Mais est-ce que ça veut dire qu'il faut que j'en fasse
Perhaps
tout le
this
jeu là?
was where the bucket felt most truly at home. Here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel at home.
Est-ce que tous les dialogues changent avec le bucket?
But finally, the bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first open door on their left to get back to business.
Bah ouais, mais alors qu'est-ce qui se passe si je vais là?
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Pourquoi le bucket il a une voix nasillarde?
Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this
Attends,
obvious fact.
Mais c'est
He was
infini là,
firmly
c'est sans,
convinced that
c'est
the
sans
bucket
fin.
had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Danger everywhere.
No, stop. Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point.
Ah oui.
Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I
Peut-être.
suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Mais non. Oula. Oh non. Is this a bucket?
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Non.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Ceci n'est pas un seau. René narrateur.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket? What? Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Ok. Ça ressemblait à un seau.
Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket.
Bon. Mais. D'accord. Ça ressemblait pas à un bucket.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Non.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Oui.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is?
Qu'est-ce qu'un seau?
A bucket. Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
Non.
Okay, here we go.
Non. Non, pas les seaux. Non, pas les seaux. Non.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket?
Ah, c'est ça.
Every single thing in the game was a bucket. My God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue. But it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay?
Twisted
and we'll
mind.
know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person. All right, here we go.
Peut-être que tout autour de nous est un seau. On sait pas. Peut-être que Valili, toi, tu es un seau.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Ouais. Il est trop bien comme mot, bucket. C'est trop bien.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Trop bien. Oh, le Bloom Closet, mais avec le bucket. Oh. Vas-y.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You
No.
can feel that, can't you?
C'est
The
mon
aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I
No.
know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend.
Oui,
You can't hand it over.
c'est mon seau.
No. Getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons. But
Ouais,
even
je
this
sais.
is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends?
Quoi?
That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient?
N'importe
That your
quoi.
life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path
triste
in
d'avoir
an
un seau pour
even
compagnon.
partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley.
Bah ouais.
Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments.
Putain, j'avais beaucoup de
Expand
respect
on
pour
the
le Broom
wide
Closet,
variety of
mais...
experiences you and the bucket have shared together.
Ou alors c'est
Go
le
through
narrateur qui
each
essaie de
of them
me
point
monter
by
contre le Broom
point.
Closet.
Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Est-ce que c'est pas le narrateur qui veut me monter contre le Broom Closet? Je sais pas, hein.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There.
Ah.
Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Cette lampe
All
elle fait un
right,
peu de
I've
bruit.
got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see? I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to
Mais
yourself,
on a vu que tout
it's
était
a
un seau.
bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Putain, ils ont fait une suite au Broom Closet ending. Trop bien.
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Je pense que c'est fini. Qu'est-ce qui se passe si je vais en
Going
bas
to the
avec le bucket?
staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
J'ai envie d'aller en bas avec le bucket. C'était la meilleure fin du jeu, donc on va voir ce que ça donne.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken
ouais, non.
that risk?
C'est le
All
même...
because he believed everyone had vanished?
His boss would think he was crazy.
C'est la même fin.
Something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong.
Non, c'est
Surely
marqué.
no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me!
The bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his.
Non,
None
c'est
of
pas
them
mes
were
buckets.
his special bucket.
C'est pas mes buckets.
Come to me, Stanley!
Oui, j'arrive.
Find me.
J'arrive,
He
mon
had to
tout
find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Pff, elle a pas de seau, Mariella.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away,
faut refaire
she
tout le
knew
jeu avec
what
le
the
seau, en fait.
problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work. for
Salut
which her
Arcandris.
bucket would provide
Oh, t'as
absolute
raté
guidance
tellement
and
de choses.
total clarity on everything.
Oh là
And
là.
yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
On a découvert le saut du réconfort. Et maintenant, je veux passer ma vie avec mon
Already
saut du
this was
réconfort.
uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
C'est Stanley Parable 2. Et on le voit parce qu'il a rajouté des ballons. Happy 12th birthday, Step 10. Oh, mon saut de réconfort. Ah oui.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Ah, qu'est-ce que ça fait du bien. On voit que c'est mon bucket parce qu'il y a marqué propreté. Attends. Je vais bouger la caméra. Webcam. Tac. Non, là je suis toujours devant. Tac, si je le mets là. Reprends la partie. Voilà. Il y a marqué Property of Stanley. Là-bas. Ça veut dire que c'est mon seau.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
No.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Je vais remettre la caméra où elle était.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct?
Oui.
Was this better than the meeting room?
Oui.
Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Vas-y.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left
No.
to go back to the meeting room.
fait, faut refaire toutes les scènes du jeu.
said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Allez. Qu'est-ce qui se passe si je me suicide avec le
Good,
bucket?
said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top.
Oh, le
There's
collectible!
something up there I need you to do.
Oh, le
Stanley
collectible!
did not question why, but Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Vas-y, on y retourne.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Putain, faut refaire tout le jeu avec le bucket, mais trop bien.
Stanley decided
Vas-y.
to go to the meeting room. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
C'était comme ça avant? C'était pas comme ça avant? Ah oui, je crois que c'est un truc qui a une très faible chance d'arriver. Que le décor, enfin que le chemin change un petit peu. Et du coup ça perturbe.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly
Ok.
to his chest. This was not the correct way
On
to
va
the
faire la
meeting
fin de
room.
la femme.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him,
C'est grave,
telling
Rysther,
him
pourquoi?
that the employee lounge was
Parce que
simply
j'aime
the
mon bucket?
place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left
Non.
to go back to the meeting room,
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Les collectibles.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember,
trop bien.
no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done.
Allez.
You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Trop bien. Ah, oui. Oula. What? Des cassettes. Narrator dialogue. Oh, c'est les lignes de dialogue du narrateur.
Okay, this is day number 295. Take number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms.
Je confirme, j'ai essayé tout à l'heure, c'est trop bien.
Everything feels so. What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there? Caporata.
Bouh. Oh, trop bien.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Meeting today in the meeting room.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
C'est trop bien.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Oh,
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Bah ouais, hein, moi le saut il me dit de faire des trucs, je fais des trucs. Hein.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Dark room. Ça c'est plus dark que l'autre, mais... Non mais c'est ça. Ah oui.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
En fait, faut refaire tout.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Bonjour Stanley, c'est moi ton seau. Appuie sur P pour emmener au travail avec toi.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Ramener à la maison avec toi.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
N'écoute pas la grande bouche. Appuie sur L pour rentrer à la maison. Non, I peut-être. Ouais, I.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. His stupid hunk of metal.
Ça représente un seau. The Beige Pages. Ouais. Jazz music. Pour ignorer tout le monde dans ta vie sauf moi. Ouh, c'est glauque.
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore.
from now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this
Norman
sort of
Bates.
shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Tu sais que j'existe, pas vrai, Stanley? Appuie sur X pour entrer à la maison.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more
C'est ce que je voulais voir.
capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Il y a de plus en plus de buckets dans l'appartement. Qui sont dissimulés ça et là. Mind Control Facility. I played the demo. 427. Adventure awaits. 8. Il y a un succès 8. Est-ce qu'il y a un bucket là? Non, il n'y a pas de bucket là. C'est étonnant qu'il n'y ait pas de bucket dessiné là-dessus. Travailler cette journée avec moi encore et encore.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Putain, c'est trop fou. Il est trop fou ce jeu. Rentrer à la maison, retourner au travail, à la maison, au travail.
Oh no. I'm having feelings for the bucket. Oh, no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket?
Oula.
Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
Ah, la nuit romantique avec le seau là.
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give
No.
it to me. Give me the
No.
bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Non, c'est mon seau. Retourne au travail, Stanley. Ok. Oh. Mais il est trop bien le jeu. Il est trop bien le jeu, Valubi. Ça, c'est un jeu que t'aurais pu faire si t'avais pas le motion sickness. C'est un jeu que j'aurais aimé te faire découvrir. Hein.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure
Parce
together.
que t'as rien à faire à part te déplacer en fait.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Non, bah il reste encore des
This
fois
was
que j'ai
not
pas
the
fait. Hein.
correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left.
Il reste
to go
encore des
back
choses
to
que
the
j'ai pas
meeting
faites.
room. No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Yeah, good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did
Oui, je
not
t'avais montré
question
quelques
why
fois
or how
rapidement,
this
ouais.
bucket was speaking to him.
Mais
It should have
je t'avais
alarmed
pas
him,
montré
of
le
course,
jeu en
because
profondeur.
buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
C'est à l'époque où
Stanley
je te
once
montrais The
again
Witcher.
obeyed blindly. Now pick up the phone, said the bucket. Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets
Comment
can't
ça?
talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for
Joke.
longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds?
Bah oui.
Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is
Yes.
yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing.
Okay.
To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next,
Rysther,
provide
le
a brief
raton ermite.
synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny."
I'm Dunny
Practice
with
screaming,
the funny.
"I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny. I'm Dunny with the funny.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy.
Voilà.
Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how
Ça
rap
marche
they
toujours,
were
ça.
throughout the joke is the
Des
only way to
questionnaires
grow
sur à
or
quel point
learn
tu es
as a
drôle.
comedian.
Ouais.
An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times.
Okay.
Just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling
Ah,
in
je vais
answers
percer dans le
at
streaming
random.
grâce à ça. Hein.
And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence, and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their
American
children after them.
intensifies.
Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme. Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it?
No.
Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery.
Oh, il y a plus
Come
d'autocollant
on,
du son.
let's head back.
Oui, c'est ça, c'est de 0 à 100 quelque chose. It escalated quickly. Ouais, on voit qu'ils ont gardé le code de base quand même, que en fait quand on fait les fins, on refait quand même le même chemin. Mais les dialogues
I
changent.
can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley. The bucket spoke. The bucket spoke.
Mais
Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
il a pas énoncé l'initial, enfin il a pas épelé son nom. Not lie, you are lying right now. Stop. D'accord. Pardon, je voulais pas mentir. Mais il manque un autocollant sur mon seau. Dédoublement de la personnalité. Bah en vrai, c'est un peu ça l'histoire, c'est que Stanley s'emmerde tellement dans son boulot qu'il s'invente des espèces d'aventures incroyables.
Here we go. You ready?
Dans son boulot et dans
When
sa vie.
Stanley and the
normale.
bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There was supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off.
Ce n'est pas ton saut, c'est
Joke will
tout.
never
Ouais.
land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors.
Comment ça, c'est pas mon saut? C'est moi, n'importe quoi, c'est mon saut.
I've made a fool of myself.
Comme le parc.
I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go
Oula.
back and rewatch
Non,
that
s'il vous plaît, c'est bon, on l'a vu.
video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my...
Non. Oula.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
C'est le même fonctionnement exactement que quand il n'y avait pas le son.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this was all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over.
Ah oui,
It's
t'as raison,
all
c'est mon
your
souris, c'est pas mon
fault,
saut.
Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Ouais.
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar.
Salut Magic Duck.
No. We're getting
Bienvenue,
away
nous
from
jouons à
the
Stanley
fun
Parable
of
Ultra Deluxe.
with the
Ou
bucket.
Stanley Parable 2, devrais-je dire.
I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of
Je suis
comedy.
tombé amoureux de ce saut.
More instructional
C'est mon
videos.
saut.
Let's see.
The end is never the end, bien sûr. Trop bien. J'aime trop le reassuring bucket.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it.
Mais non.
If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a
sûr que
matter
tout
of
va bien.
time.
Ah yes.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him.
C'est mon bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest
Ouais.
and entered the door on his left.
Ah putain, je sais ce que j'ai pas fait avec le bucket. Ah mince. Bon, tant pis. On va aller dans le boss office. What the hell is going on? What the... We need more planks. Warehouse access plan. Ah oui, je sais. Ah, il va me donner des indices sur où les trouver. Ah, parce que ça, je l'ai déjà fait, celui-là. Ça, je l'ai déjà fait, celui-là. Mission status. Inside the secret... Ouais, ok. Stairs. Something to do with stairs. Somewhere, both red and blue. Mais je pouvais pas y accéder. Je pouvais pas y accéder à ce truc-là. Il me disait que le bucket était interdit. Ah, il faut que j'aille sur le bucket. Ok. Ok. Attendez. Faire un screen. Il faut que j'aille sur le bucket. Ah, intéressant. Image X. En plus, il n'y a aucune récompense, c'est trop bien. Nearby a fireplace. A fireplace, ok. A private but smelly place for an important... Ok, donc ça, je sais où c'est. Collect them all. Et oui, gotta catch them all, bien sûr. I want to go name. I want them so much. Stop killing yourselves. There will be cleaning on this wall required. Oui. Who are you? 666 lol. Lies. There will be a reward for finding them all. Non, c'est pas vrai. On sait que c'est pas vrai. Ouais, employé. 416. Mais on sait ce que c'est le 416. C'est le bureau fermé qui est devenu le bureau du New Content. Qui est redevenu le bureau 416. Why wouldn't they just tell us something will happen? Investigation in this room. They feel pointless. Ideas. Can we sell them? Obviously. More dollars if sold together. How many are them? 6. Ouais, il y en a 6. Should we make them employees? Interns? Yes, maybe. What do they want? Our data? Stock option, money. So one in cargo room. Oui, mais je l'ai déjà fait celle-là. Employee 421 is building a bridge. What we forgot, what we know. What we don't know yet. Ouais. Très bien. Ok, donc. Stairs. Ça, je l'ai vu déjà. Mais attends, est-ce que...
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Mince. Tant pis, il n'y a plus de stickers. Alors,
Coming to a
staircase.
staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to
Ah, je
the
sais où il y a des
boss's
staircases
office.
aussi. Ok. Je sais où il y a des staircases, là où on peut torturer le narrateur. Yeah!
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs.
Yes.
What
Stanlerine.
about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that.
No.
Another Stanlerine under your belt.
C'est pas fou, Stanley. Pardon. Pardon. Ok. Oh, l'ascenseur. Vas-y, l'ascenseur. Je prends l'ascenseur. Ascenseur, s'il te plaît. Bang, bien sûr. Vas-y. Ok. C'est quoi, 28-45?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed, but Stanley guessed the correct code
Yes.
by sheer luck.
Je m'en souviens de la
Was
semaine
it
dernière.
the bucket knew all along? Was
Oui,
the bucket
c'est le saut.
guiding him?
C'est le saut qui m'a guidé.
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
C'est grâce au saut. Oh là 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 là.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies.
Ah,
What do you think,
Fireplace,
Stan?
c'est là.
What
Ah oui.
name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness
heureusement que deux.
that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Pour l'instant, ce qu'on n'a pas vu encore de Stanley Parable 2, c'est le trou sans fond. On n'a pas encore revu. Qu'est-ce qu'il y avait dit? Les ballons et les amis. Il n'y a pas l'épilogue. Il n'y avait rien sur l'épilogue. Il y a les collectibles.
The elevator
Bien sûr que c'est le 2, Arcandris. Non mais c'est parce que t'as raté le...
unknown fate.
Tu vois, la suite est en pause. Parce que t'as raté le truc, c'est Stanley
It would
Parable
be
2.
all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Cool. En fait, faut refaire tout le jeu vraiment
Stanley and
avec
the
le
bucket
bucket.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Qu'est-ce que je fais? Escape, hein.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
End of the bucket, bien sûr.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Je sais pas si ça va changer quelque chose ou si vraiment on perd du temps quoi. À chaque fois il y a eu des trucs nouveaux. Hein. Arrêtez.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be.
N'importe
To be
quoi.
sure, it
Comment il
puts
parle
the
de mon seau?
mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
N'importe quoi, c'est le seau qui m'a sauvé la vie.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Bah oui. Ah là là, ah là là. Vous accueillez à la grande exposition. Vous vous tenez au bord du savoir. Tout comme un seau, l'esprit humain est souvent vide à l'intérieur, un vide caverneux. Mais grâce à l'exposition qui se présente à vous, l'esprit peut se remplir, s'enrichir et être satisfait. Les connaissances du sceau et son histoire sont les seules que nous ayons véritablement. Utiliserez-vous ce que vous apprenez ici, dans le monde extérieur? Accepterez-vous, c'est ça, l'esprit ouvert, ce que peut paraître complexe quant aux informations de cette exposition, ce qui peut paraître complexe. Changerez-vous votre vie et la vie de vos proches suite à cette exposition, ou fermerez-vous les yeux pour continuer à vivre comme avant, dans l'ignorance et l'obscurité? Le sceau. Qu'est-ce que c'est beau.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Attendez, je reviens parce que... En fait, j'ai privé le stream de quelque chose d'important tout à l'heure. Et je me rends compte que je peux pas faire ça. Je reviens. Excusez-moi, c'est très important. Je pouvais pas savoir qu'il était si important. Je pouvais pas savoir. Donc nous accueillons de nouveau le sceau, qui est de nouveau parmi nous. Je vous prierai d'accueillir le sceau comme il se doit dans le chat, s'il vous plaît. On lui doit beaucoup. On lui doit beaucoup. « 25 sceaux. Une photographie de 25 sceaux le plus grand nombre de sceaux pris en photo à ce jour. Bref, souvent, sauf faire une catatoniie de plusieurs semaines causée par l'euphorie d'acquisition de sceaux à la fois. Mais il y en a plus que 25 là. Hein. Là, il y en a plus que 25. Hein. Le sceau de Vitruve. Un sceau à 2 anses. Ce sceau est illustré avec 2 anses cependant. Un tel concept n'a jamais existé en vrai, car il est considéré comme trop risqué. Cette dangereusement expérimentale. Et dangereusement expérimentale, pardon. Chaque année, des dizaines de personnes sont mises à mort pour le simple fait d'essayer. Le sceau de Vitruve, bien sûr. Oh, le premier sceau. Sceau infernal. Une reproduction du sceau infernal, qui au Moyen-Âge avait un attrait si intense que des dizaines de pays s'affrontèrent pour en obtenir le contrôle. Il y a eu des milliards de morts, bien sûr, il n'y était pas des milliards au Moyen-Âge. Et malgré tout, ce simple fait demeure, personne ne peut contrôler le sceau. Mais c'est vraiment l'anneau unique. Hein. Oh là 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 là. Qu'est-ce que c'est bien. Dessin de grotte. Si nous savons que les sauts précèdent l'existence de l'humanité, nous ne savons pas combien de temps. Ce dessin d'une grotte illustre la découverte humaine précoce des commodités du seau. À cette époque, le seau existait déjà depuis plusieurs millénaires. Observé dans ces dessins, comme le seau se laisse utiliser et en juger les êtres humains comme étant dignes de ces trésors. C'est une grande histoire qu'on voit là. Il y a une fuite au plafond, ils mettent le seau en dessous et ils s'en servent pour nourrir des animaux sauvages. C'est beau.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this
Attends, il y avait
one.
l'autre côté.
It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Parce qu'il y avait l'autre côté là. The stress bucket. Une analogie. Le saut du stress. Présenté sans commentaire. Worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, lack of reassurance. Vulnerability égale size and strength of the bucket. Coping strategy égale hole. Stress, the level of water in the bucket. Oui, c'est l'analogie du seau. Rest and relaxation. Doing something you enjoy. Rest and relaxation. Ok. J'aime beaucoup le petit détail qu'il y a des chaises pour les surveillants du musée. Le seau accroché. Hang the bucket. Oh, et le trou sans fond derrière. Oh putain, c'est trop bien. Cette œuvre symbolise la relation nécessaire entre le seau et l'humanité. Quel que soit ce que nous comprenons sur le seau, il y a toujours plus de connaissances qui restent inaccessibles. Cette distance est forcément pour notre bien. Oh. That's my bucket.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine.
Ah, elle disait pas ça la dernière fois.
Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The
Le
bucket
saint
should
seau.
take its place as ruler,
The holy
as
bucket.
leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Après la Sainte Gourde et la Sainte Grenade. La Sainte... Sandale, pardon. La Sainte Grenade aussi, remarque. Le Saint Sceau. Ok, donc
The
du coup...
meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be.
Faut que
Stanley
j'aille là-bas.
just needed to get to the meeting
Sans
room,
le seau.
and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Ah, je dois résister. Je dois résister. Il y a un collectibles là-bas. Faut que j'aille chercher les collectibles. Il y a absolument aucune récompense. C'est important que je récupère les collectibles.
Well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic.
Ouais.
Perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Allez.
Look,
On
Stanley,
récupère tous les
I think
collectibles
perhaps
pour
we've
n'avoir aucune
gotten off
récompense
on
et
the
être
wrong
heureux.
foot here.
Heureux dans
I'm
notre
not your
vie.
enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone... Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on...
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one. And then the first number will equal the second number. And that will be it.
Trop bien.
We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all.
Trop bien.
You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
Now listen carefully, this is important.
Oui.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Allez. Allez, de toute façon, je sais ce qui se passe. Je
Oh,
connais.
thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to
Il manque
stop.
plus qu'une seule figurine.
Mais
j'ai plus mon seau.
both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes.
Voilà.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Est-ce
If we
que-
just... No, wait. Where are you going?
Est-ce que la dernière figurine est là?
Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Il est pas ici. Elle est pas ici la dernière figurine. Il y a marqué stairs. Some things to do with stairs.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Ah non. Hein.
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No!
Aïe.
Oh, no. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
C'est proche.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy.
Oui.
Am I reading the situation correctly?
Ouais.
Maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
Allez. Faisons ça. J'ai besoin de la dernière figurine et j'ai besoin de récupérer mon seau surtout.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Yes. Parfait.
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket
Ok.
tightly to his chest.
Alors, il y a encore des trucs que j'ai pas fait.
Way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Ok. We are back on track.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
What the hell?
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've
An
come together
intervention-
here because we
intervention?
care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before.
Si, c'est mon bucket.
Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it.
Non.
Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Et le broom closet, on peut aller dedans? Ah, je suis dans le broom closet. Vas-y, on va suivre The Adventure Line.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Ah, la silly music.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes. It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Même pas en rêve.
Le narrateur veut que j'abandonne mon saut.
Tu peux toujours crever.
C'est le compagnon cube all over again, hein. All over again, le compagnon cube. Mais je ne vais pas le jeter dans l'incinérateur. Contrairement au narrateur.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
Non.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Mais non. Mais... bah alors,
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the
retrouver.
Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Non.
Can
Non.
you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Oh, narrateur, tu vas tellement morfler. Hein.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket.
Non, je
I
veux
don't
pas.
know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Non, je voudrais pas mon bucket. Je refuse. Not again. Mais...
The Bucket Destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you
You
were
won't be
here,
missed.
you were magnificent.
Trop bien. Fade to black. Ah, j'ai pas détruit mon bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
J'ai envie de réessayer ça.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
Je vais
he had
réessayer.
simply missed a memo. Oh, please.
On va
Are
réessayer.
you really just doing this for the achievement?
Oui.
Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, 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 no. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Allez.
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
Clicks intensifies.
No, I'm still not feeling it.
I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
Allez, c'est parti. Ah, pourquoi ça s'est fermé derrière moi?
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Mais ça s'est fermé derrière moi, je peux pas? Ouais, je peux pas y retourner. Mais je pense que c'est parce que j'avais une certaine génération de... J'ai une RNG qui m'a généré un truc où je pouvais pas faire demi-tour.
The embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test of time.
Tant pis.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to
Moi, il
his
me manque plus
chest
qu'un seul...
and entered the door on his left.
Un seul collectible. Ouais. Stairs. Something to do with stairs. Looks like 427. Bah oui, c'est moi. How can you? Who took these pictures of them? Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
C'est parti. On a dit 28:45, mais je crois qu'il va l'ouvrir tout seul.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was
Oui.
the bucket guiding him?
Oui.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Après des escaliers, il y en a aussi dans la salle de Mind Control Facility. D'ailleurs, je réalise que dans celui-là, il n'y a pas du tout la grande salle avec tous les écrans. Bah, la Parable. Elle est pas du tout là.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
Ah, mais si, je suis
Control
con, déjà.
Facility.
N'importe quoi. Voilà, elle est juste là. Félicitations, Rysther.
The lights rose
Ça
on
va
an
être que des-
enormous room packed with television screens.
Ça va être que des
What
buckets.
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Ah, les écrans s'allument. Ah, ou alors c'est le bouton qui est après. Ah oui, c'est ce bouton-là. Voilà.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
Non.
Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Tout va bien se passer, mon petit saut. Mon saut d'amour, bien sûr.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Vas-y.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Ah putain, qu'est-ce que j'aime ce jeu.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world.
J'ai même pas regardé la salle. Ah punaise, j'ai pas regardé la salle.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness.
J'ai même pas regardé s'il y
Was
avait
it over?
le collectible.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Bah si.
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in
Je veux éternuer dans tous les pays.
until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
Non.
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket. Go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket.
Tout à fait.
To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself.
Si
As
j'ai le
long as
bucket.
I have my bucket with me, right?
Bah ouais.
I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Je m'en fous, j'ai mon bucket. Ok, et donc maintenant on va réessayer en mettant on.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Ah là, ça s'est pas fermé, ok, très bien. Allez. Donc on recommence, on réessaye.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement?
Oui,
Click a
allez.
door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks. No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley.
Allez.
I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20
417.
clicks into door number 417?
417. Là.
Oh, great. Now,
417.
go click a few times on door 437. Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now,
Ouais.
door 415. Let's give it
415.
10 clicks or so.
415. T'es où 415 416, 415.
Now, back to door number 437.
On est reparti. 437.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine. All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
Ok, c'est parti. 417, là.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
Allez.
Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416. We've almost got it! Now the copy machine, do that one again!
Oui, oui. La copie machine. La copie, vite, là, elle était là-bas. Ça, c'est trop bien. Meilleur jeu.
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430! Yes! We did it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing.
Oh,
Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come
Je
today.
suis heureux.
Just think, only a few minutes ago, you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now, what were you thinking?
Ah, ils ont pris un truc débile et ils l'ont rendu génial.
The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his
Allez,
left.
c'est parti. On y est presque. On y est presque. Almost
Coming to a
there.
staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Allez.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
En plus, on va pas tarder à s'arrêter, je pense. Ça fait 3 heures. Je pense que c'est la dernière fin qui me manquait. Je réfléchis, mais ouais, je crois que j'ai quasiment tout fait.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Allez.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
On y est presque.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
Même pas en rêve.
Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything
Oui, on
like
est là,
this, and it very nearly burst into tears.
niveau
as
juste au-dessus du
Stanley
bucket.
cradled it gently, reassuring it
Voilà,
that
427.
everything would be fine.
C'est nous. Allez.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Hop là, on est parti.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here
Okay.
was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
C'est marrant parce qu'il dit, il y a un fort où il le dit presque avec un accent français. Son R, il est presque, c'est presque un R français. Juste avant. Voilà, je trouvais ça amusant. Ah bah, je sais pas où est le dernier collectible. Stairs, something to do with stairs. Il est tout cassé. Caché, pardon. Il est tout caché. Très bien. Et on va le faire on. On va voir ce qui se passe.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again. Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable.
Mais c'est trop bien.
Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Oh putain que c'est con. Pouf. Eh ben... Quel jeu. Quel jeu. Quel jeu de fou.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Oh là là. Bon, on va s'arrêter là. J'ai fait quasiment tous les endings là en vrai.
Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
On va s'arrêter là. Et bah c'était vraiment très très bien. Et je pensais pas qu'on ferait les 3 heures. Et on a fait les 3 heures. Et si, Valili, on va s'arrêter là. Bah, de toute façon, on a vu les dialogues, on a vu la plupart des dialogues. Là, on a fait quasiment tout ce qu'on pouvait faire, je pense. Je réfléchis rapidement si j'ai pas oublié des trucs. Mais a priori, on a été partout. On a fait tous les endings. Si jamais tu veux voir le jeu original... On a un délire avec le bucket, ouais. Si jamais tu veux voir le jeu original, il y a la rediff qui est disponible sur la chaîne, hein, tout simplement. T'as les VOD. Et tu peux regarder le stream de la semaine dernière. Mais la semaine dernière, comme j'étais malade, j'étais pas très très bien. Donc juste, en gros, t'auras surtout les commentaires du narrateur, quoi. Enfin, voilà. En tout cas, je vous souhaite à tous une très très bonne soirée. Et n'oubliez pas d'emporter toujours votre bucket avec vous. Très très important. Je vous souhaite voilà, je vous souhaite une très bonne soirée. J'espère que vous vous êtes bien marrés, que ça a été cool. Et puis je vous dis à la prochaine, probablement vendredi, mais pas sûr comme d'habitude. Donc vous pourrez venir voir vendredi, puis si je suis pas connecté, ce sera mardi prochain. Voilà, je vous souhaite à tous une très très bonne soirée. Retour au menu. Hop là. Tu vois, Arcandris, tu me disais c'est pas Stanley Parable 2, et ça c'est quoi là? Hein, tu m'expliques? Je trouve que ça ressemble quand même beaucoup à Stanley Parable 2. Hein. Allez, je vous souhaite une très très bonne soirée et puis à la prochaine. Take care.